I told you guys that I went off of birth control, so now it's been, what has it been now, 3 weeks? And I forgot, it's funny because the reason I went off birth control is, I guess, obvious, but my gynecologist, I went to my gynecologist for a checkup, and I love her. And she's got like this big, puffy, Jewy, gray, curly thing that used to be called a Jewfro, and now is not, for apparent reasons. And she's just freaking cool. She looks like what I would imagine a Janice Ian might look like now. And she's very cool. Anyway, she said, I think it's time for you to get off of birth control. And I said, yeah, definitely. And I said, but, I am still sexually active, so. And she was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I was like, what a bitch. This is just one example of why we need a word that is the woman version of emasculated. I was like, fuck her. I'm going to get pregnant just to show her. And then I'm going to, get an abortion and dedicate it to the women of Texas. Just kidding. I had to say the kidding right in like that same breath so that they don't use that clip on Fox. I used to have a joke. It was in maybe my first special where I said, I want to get an abortion, but my boyfriend and I are having trouble conceiving. Did I say that last week? I don't think so. Oh, no, I haven't heard it. Yeah. That's how they see us, They think that we're going around trying to get pregnant so we can get abortions, or like using abortion as birth control. I mean, man, that George Carlin clip that's going around is right on the money. All they care about, all they pretend to care about is the unborn. Rules that limit women's freedoms and control their bodies because the unborn. The second they're born, they're fucked. They don't want to know about you. Look it up. It's a great bit. For me, there's a very big difference between the people who truly believe with their whole hearts that abortion is murder and the politicians who court them, no matter what science says, no matter how many rights this takes away from women, and especially poor women, which is disproportionately women of color, and that is by design. And laws like this are a huge part of that. I mean, rich women are fine. Rich women can take the day off work, can have freedom of movement, can go fly to another state, can drive, 20 hours to another state and, get the procedure done. Even if that state has a 24-hour wait period where they have to think it over, they can do that. No, this affects women who have 1, 2, 3 jobs to make ends meet, have kids. They would need to get a babysitter. They would need to take time off of work. They would need to cross state lines. They would need to, get a hotel room. It's just none of those things are feasible to many, many, many women. Motherfuckers. There are like religious groups and religious people whose sexist religions force women to give birth, which is really all religions at their most fundamentalist. I will say the Jewish religion fundamentally supports a woman's choice, and so much so that in Israel, abortion is not only legal, it is free. I'm sure this is more stuff to make people who hate Jews hate them more. But they are also the same people who are pro-Israel. Why? Is it because they love Jews? Definitely not. Definitely not because they care for Jews. But because they believe all Jews have to return to Israel in order for them to go to heaven. This is why when the left equates pro-Israel with pro-Jewish and also equates Israel with Jews, it causes a very quiet but real anti-Semitic feeling towards Jews from the left that is extra, extra super scary for Jews on the left like me. This country's fucking nuts. Anyway, my heart goes out to Texas. You know, people say, oh, we should boycott Texas. But, you know, this is like what I learned with Georgia when they started doing the crazy laws. There's so many states where this is not new. There have been laws chipping away at women's rights nonstop for years, very quietly, on the down low. Absurd, insane laws taking away women's rights. It doesn't, to boycott Georgia to Atlanta, taking productions out of Atlanta, to boycott Texas doesn't hurt the people who are making these laws. This doesn't affect them at all. It just hurts Texans. It keeps them from seeing your show. It keeps people from having work in that state, you know, and it doesn't help to Texan people to boycott Texas. It doesn't hurt the policymakers in Texas. What would hurt the policy makers in Texas would be boycotting the corporations that are their biggest donors. That's more on the money, I think. Yeah. Let's take some calls.
You left me a message, now I'm playing it for the world. Let's hear some voicemails.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Hi, Sarah. I'm calling because another caller called in about adoption, something you guys talk a lot on your podcast that I love so much. I am a mom of two. One at childbirth right out of my vagina. The other one was adopted through an open adoption. And I just wanted to put out there that the love is really the same, and that all this maternal love everyone's feeling, or if you have it in your heart to adopt, you totally should. The love is truly the same. And I understand the magic of your kid looking like you, but that's not all there is. And also they might not always look like you. And if you do an open adoption, you get to have this beautiful relationship, hopefully, with a birth mom and understand their story and respect them. And it's really just a special bond with a woman that would have otherwise been a stranger. Anyway, the open adoption has been great, and I just wanted to encourage people that if you have it in your heart to adopt, or you're just feeling maternal, think of it as an option, baby or older kid, whatever. The love is really the same. All right, love your podcast. Bye.
That's awesome. I have nothing to add. That is just awesome. Other than, I don't know if this is nepotism? I don't know. But my sister Susan, the Rabbi Susie, check out the website for Second Nurture, which is her program that she put together that is all over the country. And it's incredible. It helps people with foster care and adoption in communities, you know, like doing it by community and having cohorts and helping each other. And it's fucking awesome. So special. Yeah, Second Nurture, check that out. But that's awesome. I'm happy to hear.
Here's some ads.
Ooh, Pill Club. I love Pill Club. If you're on birth control, remembering to take your pill is already enough work. Forget going to the doctor in person to get your prescription and picking it up from the pharmacy. The Pill Club wants to take the work out of taking care of yourself. The Pill Club is a birth control subscription prescribed by a medical professional and delivered straight to your door for free in discreet packaging. The Pill Club carries over 120 FDA-approved brands. Most brands of birth control are free with insurance or Medicaid. Otherwise, prices start as low as $7 per month without insurance. I think this is unbelievable. As you know, I recently went off of birth control. But for all of you who are still on it, what an unbelievable deal. And right now, when you go to thepillclub.com/Sarah, the Pill Club is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every Sarah Silverman podcast listener who becomes a patient. I love this. Your donation will help low-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org, more important than ever. That's thepillclub.com/Sarah to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more women in need of affordable birth control. Remember, thepillclub.com/Sarah. You must use the link to make a donation. Genexa. You want your medicine to make you feel better, right? It sounds crazy, but you may need to take a closer look at your medicine cabinet. The familiar brands you've been using for years could actually be filled with unnecessary chemicals and making you feel worse. Genexa makes medicine with ingredients that help you feel better, not worse. Genexa medicine has the same effective active ingredients you need without unnecessary artificial dyes, preservatives, and fillers that you don't. I've taken this for headaches, and you know what? It works just as well as the main brands, and I know I'm not getting the junk in my body that I do not need that could be affecting other shit. They have everyday essential medicines for adults, kids, and infants that cover a variety of health issues, so your whole family is covered. Genexa has a huge network of healthcare professionals across the U.S. helping patients and their families join the clean medicine revolution. It's real medicine made clean. Go to Genexa.com/Sarah for 20% off your first purchase. That's Genexa.com/Sarah. Start cleaning out your medicine cabinet today. Go to Genexa.com/Sarah for 20% off your first purchase. And we're back.
Hi, Sarah. My name's Jesse. I'm from Ontario, Canada. Love listening to your podcast. It's nice to have a reminder that there are still a lot of Americans who have their head on straight. What I wanted to hear you talk about is the American idea of freedom. It kind of freaks me out. You know, the way Americans talk about freedom, it's so individual. You know, it's like every freedom comes with a side of fuck you. You know, like it doesn't feel like that in Canada, or maybe it does for some, but not in my experience. You know, there's an awareness that we kind of have to do this thing together, and it just never seems like Americans feel that way. I was wondering if you could, talk about it. You know, how do you fix it? How do you get people to realize that the people around them matter? Thanks.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last time I feel like I felt like a real unity in America was after 9/11. There was a palpable change where it seemed like people just cared about each other and were kinder. Though it was surely not the experience of any Muslim Americans, so maybe not a good example. Terrible example. Not a great example there. What that makes me think this question is like, there seems to be, like, ironically, a lot of people who yell about freedom are very like, USA is number one, which is a very, obviously nationalistic vibe. And that nationalism is oddly not unity. It's more like us versus them. There's an us. There is an us. Like, it's us. But it's us versus them with a capital T, whoever that them is at the moment, whether it's, Islamophobia or the border, the immigrants, or there needs to be a them, it seems, for there to be an us. And that's just not very beautiful. Hey, if you wear a mask, it'll really help everyone. But then people are like, fuck you. Really? You can't bother to just put a mask on just in terms of caring for others, even if you think it's bullshit, just like out of respect? I mean, it's Todd Glass in his last special has a great bit. And I don't, the joke, whatever the joke is, I won't, you should check it out. But, he basically is like, and I think I've quoted him before, but he's like, people complain that everyone's too politically correct. Everyone's too politically correct. What does politically correct mean to you? Like, it's just kindness. People are against kindness. I know I sound hokey, but people have a real tough time having kindness or empathy for themselves, so there's no space for them to have it for others. You know, they're so broken. They're so scared. They do not have the space for anything else. They can't thrive because they're just getting by. This is a giant population of the U.S., and they really aren't bad guys. They're not bad guys. They're just people with no tools. And they have a really loud voice. And they are cogs and pawns to powerful people addicted to wealth. Anyway. You know, probably when you're in another country watching us, you have a better perspective because you have a perspective. We're in the middle of it. To us, it's just dots, you know, pixels. I don't know. What is freedom to people? Is it the my body, my choicers, but only when it comes to masks? Making us have to wear masks again because we are unwilling to work as a group to eradicate this plague. It's quite maddening. The woman who wore that yellow, like, Holocaust star that Jews had to wear in the Holocaust, that because people have to wear masks, that really made me want to fight. I really wanted to fight her. But I know I felt that way because her doing that made me scared. It made me really scared. And when you are scared, you make conservative choices. I don't know. I mean, this may be a negative thought, or maybe a positive one. I don't know. But if people aren't getting along, like in relationship, they break up, you know? So, like, why don't we just finally just realize that these states aren't working and, like, divide up into, like, 2 or 3 countries of, like, USA 1 and USA 2. And they can be USA 1. Like, the conservatives can be USA 1 because they love being number 1 and it means something to them. And I'd love to have that be theirs. They can be USA 1, we'll be USA 2, and we'll be allies. And you'll come over here and we'll go over there. And, you know, when you come to many times when you go to a different country, you have to get a vaccine. That's it. By the end of my answer, I have no idea what the question was. I don't think I'm anywhere near it. But anyway, what else?
Hi, Sarah. My name is Richard, and I'm calling from upstate New York. I love the podcast, obviously. What's not to love? I've always thought about calling in and leaving a voicemail, but never thought I had anything to say or ask. And now, unfortunately, I do. So late last week, my mom passed away, suddenly. She was predeceased by my dad by about 10 years. And I'm 30, so how much does that fucking suck?
Sucks.
But, I'm getting a lot of messages from people with thoughts and prayers and, you know, all that fun stuff, which is great. And a lot of them are saying something along the lines of, well, at least she's in heaven with your dad, and, you know, they're dancing up there, which is a great thought, but I just see no convincing evidence of an afterlife, and I can't imagine that ever changing. I know you've spoken about being godless before. Do you ever get jealous of people who have this notion of a happily ever afterlife? I'm really jealous. It seems very comforting. So yeah, that's my question.
Well, I'm sorry about your mom, and I always say the same thing when somebody's mom dies, because this is what Tig Notaro said to me when my mom died. There are 2 kinds of people: the kind whose moms have died and the kind who have no idea what's coming. But hey, listen, just because you're godless doesn't mean that you can't use religion or spirituality as a means of surviving these hard moments. You know, it's like you're the boss. It's okay. You know, as I always say, I invented this quote: energy cannot be created nor destroyed. They may have been scientists, but I say I coined it, even though someone here reminded me of what it was. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So, yeah, your mother, if you saw her body when the life went out of it, it's like nobody's there. You really go like, whoa, we're wearing fucking skin suits. Like that, she's gone. She's somewhere else. Is she in heaven? No. That's a made-up thing. But sometimes I see my mom around me in nature. I feel her around me in nature. Who knows? Listen, my dad is godless. He absolutely does not believe or abide God. But he prays every night. He says, so what? I pray to the God I don't believe in. And, I think he's onto something. Because at the end of the day, prayer is for us, right? It's really for us. There are not rules to being godless. At the very least, your mother is just nothing. She's just nothing. She's not in pain. And she is feeling the way she felt before she was born. It was nothing. You have the pain. You have the pain, not her. And I think that you can take some solace in that. And your memories are in you. But grief is going to do its own thing. You don't have to worry about that one bit. Grief takes care of itself. It'll hit you when it chooses to, and that's that. I think in this situation, people saying thoughts and prayers is just them saying that they're thinking about you, and that's lovely. And, you can't help but get a little religious around death because it's a mystery. And that's what religion helps us with. The stuff we cannot understand. It's a reason around so much religion, besides controlling people through fear, is just making sense of life and of death. The stuff that is beyond our comprehension. We use religion as a way to understand stuff that's beyond our comprehension. Death is beyond our comprehension, so people tend to be uncomfortable with what we don't understand and just going like, oh, I just don't know. I have no idea. The one thing I do know for sure is that your mother is definitely watching over you while you masturbate. You can take that to the bank.
Here's some ads.
Green Chef, baby. Green Chef is dinner made easy. You get a home-cooked meal without the hassle of meal planning, grocery shopping, and most of the food prep. Green Chef handles it. Green Chef makes it easy to eat the immune-boosting foods you need to stay healthy and fuel a jam-packed end of summer. Green Chef's vegan and vegetarian recipes are high in plant proteins and rich in omega-3s. Experts find that following a plant-based diet decreases the possibility of high blood pressure and boosts your immune system. I've used them before. They're amazing. It's like being like a chef on a talk show segment where like everything is like chopped up and portioned out, and all you have to do is like dump the bowls into the thing. It's so good and it's delicious. Green Chef's expert chefs design flavorful meals that go way beyond ordinary, no matter what's on your menu. So go to greenchef.com/Sarah100 and use code Sarah100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. That's greenchef.com/Sarah100 and use code Sarah100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. Green Chef, the number one meal kit for eating well. Chime. Your online checking account shouldn't cost you money. Why would you want that? That's why Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, has no overdraft fees, no foreign transaction fees, no monthly service fees, no transfer fees. Their ATMs are all over in places like 7-Eleven, Walgreens, CVS, and more. Easy enough? That's more than the top 3 national banks combined. You can also send money to anyone, even if they're not on Chime. No fees for you or cash out fees for them. Amazing. It's time to say goodbye to hidden fees. Join the millions of Americans already loving Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/Sarah. That's chime.com/Sarah. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees apply except at MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Other fees such as third-party and cash deposit fees may apply.
And we're back.
Hi, Sarah. My name's Laurel.
Wait,
I have
did
a
she just say
question
her
for
name
you,
is Yanni?
and I've tried to word this in a way
I heard
that
Yanni.
makes sense, and I think kind of explaining briefly where I'm coming from may help. So, I recently started dating my best friend of 6 years, and it's going great. It's awesome. But it's interesting because I know so much about him, and he knows so much about me, especially in, like, past relationships and things. And one thing that's new for me with the boyfriend is he has a lot of ex-girlfriends that he's friends with, which I think is awesome. I think they're all super cool girls. I'm friends with a few of them and have been friends with since like college. But what's happening to me is even though I'm like all about like just building women up, I still get a little bit of jealousy, and I'm trying to work through it, and I'm going to therapy and trying to I don't want to feel like that. And I know that you're friends with a lot of your exes, and I just wanted to know how, or if you can relate to this, or if you have any advice on how to, I guess, not have that jealousy come up. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I hope you're doing well. So, thank you so much. Bye.
I'm not sure how to answer this. This is where I'm struggling, because on one hand, I think, yeah, work on your jealousy. You know, he's with you. And yes, I'm friends with my exes, but in a million years, I would not be romantic with them or think of them in that way. They're like brothers to me, you know. But I don't know if this jealousy is some part of you that you don't trust or something in your gut that you should trust. So I'm having trouble giving you advice. I mean, you do know him. He's your best friend, right? So does he cheat? Has he cheated? I tend to think that cheaters cheat. It's usually not a one-time thing. If you know him and his past relationships and you know he's not a cheater, then yeah, work on your jealousy, I'd say. You know, you should at least be able to talk about it honestly with him. You can't forbid him to see his female friends. You know, if that's the only solution, then you probably shouldn't be together. Because you can't trust him. Or can you just not trust? I don't know. It's good to work on your jealousy, but definitely differentiate if your gut is saying something's up. Because trust your gut, if that's what it is. Or if it's just a part of you that you need to deal with and work on. I don't know. Suss out where this feeling is coming from. Suss out if it's sus. Because I'm cool and I know all the lingo. All right, what else?
Hi, Sarah. This is Sydney. I'm from Syracuse, New York. But I now live in London, England as of this year. So that's very exciting. So back when I was in the US, I used to work as a film crew member. That's what I got my degree in and all that. And then since I've moved here, I don't know anyone professionally here, so I don't work in that anymore for now. But that's also, like, fine. I'm kind of not in, like, the mental, like, sort of space to go back to working in film. And I feel like anyone who, like, works in the entertainment industry can kind of understand that. But I was wondering if you knew it all, or like, you know, have you been paying attention to the IATSE workers union call for better hours basically on set, you know, not working 12 plus hours on set, and what you thought about that. You know, it's been kind of validated by a lot of big cinematographers now, and I was just kind of wondering what talent and, you know, producers and stuff and writers would be thinking about it, such as yourself. So yeah, just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Thank you. Love the podcast. My husband and I listen to it all the time. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, IATSE is, it's, what is the word when it's like the word that initials spells out? Yeah, it's an IATSE is an acronym. IATSE. Yeah, IATSE is a big union for crew members in the entertainment industry. And, you know, people have this very glamorous idea of show business. They don't know it's 18 hour days, and it's mostly crew. It's, you know, from camera operators to the person who gets people coffee to, you know, PAs, production assistants, everyone. It's hundreds of people. And every single one of them is vital to a production being made. I mean, you can't make one without all of them. It takes a village, and 100%, the farther down the food chain you are, the less money you make, and you work the most hours. The PAs, the second AD, the second AD and the PAs are the first ones to arrive and the last ones to leave on those very, very long days. And there's a real problem with, you know, crew members falling asleep at the wheel. People have been killed. People get injured. And finally, people are talking about it and telling their stories, and it's getting noticed. There's an Instagram page called IATSE Stories. And there are all these anonymous stories about what's going on, and it's really fucked up. There are crew members that are genuinely at a major health risk over how hard they are legally able to be worked, and it's really got to change, you know. I mean, when you're an actor, you're often given like a 12-hour turnaround, meaning if you work until 8 p.m., they can't call you back until 8 a.m., though that is often waived to stay on schedule. Especially now because of COVID, there's so much pressure to finish and get content out, and it's exponentially worse for the crew. Yeah, when I act, you know, like acting stuff, most productions I work on are 14-hour days. I've always had this theory as a writer, like when I'm in writers' rooms, that like the length of the day directly correlates to how happy the head writer is in their home life. If you have like a head writer that wants to get home, the same amount of work will be done, you know, in a 8 or 10-hour day. If the head writer is not happy and is not excited to go home, it's just an endless. They keep the writers all night. That's my theory. But yeah, check it out, IATSE Stories on Instagram. What else?
Hi, Sarah. This is Sarah, not you from the future, just a different Sarah who's obviously stoned. Anyway, we met after a show once, and you were kind enough to sign my first ever stand-up comedy notebook. You're in there with the likes of Michael Ian Black and Maria Bamford and a bunch of others. You wrote a really nice note, and you signed your name. And then after that, you wrote Sparkle Peanut and told me it was something that your mom used to always say to you. So I wanted to let you know that I'm actually getting a tattoo of a peanut and using your handwriting for the Sparkle Peanut words. My question is, what's your favorite memory with your mom? And I just wanted you to know that I have all the love for you in the world, and you and your mom have permanently and forever affected my life. Thank you so much, Sarah. Keep up the podcast.
Okay, first of all, my friend Sarah De Sorrego used to call me and say, Sarah, it's Sarah, not Sarah De Sorrego, not you from the future. So that was crazy to hear that. Listen, minor correction. My mother did not ever say that to me. My sister Laura always says that to me. She says, Sparkle Peanut. And I think she heard that from a friend. I think she heard it from Susie Nakamura, actually. I'm sure that I told you it was my sister Laura, because it was my sister Laura. You must have remembered it as my mama. Anyway, I'll still tell you my favorite memory with my mom. It's just in general. My mom was in bed a lot, and we're all sisters. There's 4 sisters, and then we would all pile on to my mom's bed. Even my stepmom, Janice, all pile on to my mom's bed, grab a pair of feet and start rubbing them, and shoot the shit. They were really the best times. And then my dad and my stepdad would be relegated to the living room. Usually with my dad lightheartedly heckling my stepdad, John O'Hara, while he would be reading a book in his chair by the wood stove. They were very different from each other, but they loved each other. But anyway, that's my favorite memory. Just in general, we would just pile onto my mom's bed and rub each other's feet and shoot the shit. Yeah. All right, what else? That's very cool. I'm honored.
Hi, Sarah. I love you. I love your podcast, but mostly I just love everything you do. I mean, every time I see you, it comes off so thoughtful and genuine and effortless. And I guess that's why I'm calling, because I'm just trying to find that balance myself. I know I work too much, and my boyfriend let me know this week that he was very unhappy with my schedule. I just started a job. I'm all over the place. I'm a coordinator. I work probably like 12 hours a day. Most of that time is from like an iPad or tablet right next to him, but I understand, he's missing out. I just don't want to slow down. I think since I've had severe depression most of my life, that fixating on projects and keeping my head down till events is really where I find comfort in myself. But I don't want to burn out everybody around me. But, he doesn't work full time and we're young, and I don't see us being successful any kind of other way if I, lose my momentum. I don't have a college degree, and I found myself working harder than everybody else because I had to. And I just don't know how to find my normal balance, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Look, I have minimized myself for men I've been in relationships with before, and it's, I think I can say it is never worth it. But, he is your partner, and maybe it's this thing of working from home. You know what I mean? Like, you're working from home. Your partner does not think you're working, but you are. You know what I mean? It's like when Howard Stern, this is an odd analogy, but like when he does commercials, they play like this kind of just very generic rock and roll music in the background, and that denotes like, these are commercials. That's how we know that it's ads and not him speaking from his heart. Why would you say this analogy? I feel like you need something that denotes work mode. You know what I mean? Work from a different room, from another space, at a desk, on your laptop, or just some other area or room that means you're working. Maybe don't sit next to him on the couch when you're working. I can see how that sends an unintended mixed message to him. But do not give up something that is working for you and that is helping with your depression and something that gives you purpose and that you enjoy because your boyfriend doesn't want you to, or isn't getting enough attention. Definitely not. But maybe if you make a dedicated place and a dedicated time for work. I don't know if your apartment has more than one room. If you go into another room or you're at a desk or you're in another area and it's a dedicated time for work, then maybe that will create an ability to make dedicated time for him and for yourself. Throwing that out there. What else?
Hey, Sarah. I just wanted to call in because I just started reading up about Senate Bill 8 and how women in Texas can't get an abortion anymore after a fetal heartbeat is detected, which is like 5.5 to 6 weeks into a pregnancy. And it just made me think about the first time I read A Handmaid's Tale when I was a freshman in high school, and how foreign that concept seemed then, and now stuff like this is sort of happening, and it just feels really scary. And as like a gay guy, it makes me think about the future of all human rights, encompassing abortion and gay rights and all of the above. And I was just wondering if you felt like the legal precedents that have been set are safe, or if lawmakers are going to keep skirting around them, and kind of what your thoughts are about the future of human rights. So that's a big question, but just wondering what your thoughts were. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I agree. Watching Handmaid's Tale, especially those first 2 seasons when Trump was president, felt very prophetic. I mean, it was prophetic when she wrote it, Margaret Atwood, and it was still is now, in that their flashbacks 3 years earlier is us now, States chipping away at women's rights, state by state, bit by bit, quietly. And then this Texas one finally caught people's attention. But it's been going on and happening for years. Abortion is illegal in Texas. Yes, if you are able to detect that you are pregnant before 6 weeks, most women do not, unless they're looking to get pregnant and checking. And they have a snitch line. They have a fucking snitch line. And you can sue, everyone knows this, you could sue anyone who gets an abortion or helps a woman get an abortion, a cab driver. It's fucking dark. But yeah, Handmaid's Tale totally shows the slow erosion of this. Like, there's a scene where, it's like regular life, and all of a sudden they see, like, in the news, like, oh, women can't have bank accounts? Oh, honey, I guess she's with her husband, like, you have to buy my latte. Like, women can't have bank accounts now. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, caramel latte, caramel. 2 shots, blah, blah, blah. Like, life keeps going on while horrendous things happen. It's not like movies. There's no, again, I've said this before, like, there's no slow motion. There's no music telling us this is a major moment. They just all happen. And then the next thing you know, everything, all your rights are gone and you're not allowed to read, or you get your fingers chopped off. We think that stuff can't happen here. It can. It is. It's happening. I remember seeing pictures of, like, Iran in the 70s, and they're, like, women in bikinis, and it's a whole hippie movement, and, they weren't always what they are now with women in veils, and, it's religion took over, and there you go. It changed. We don't think things can change from progress once they've progressed. It changes. It's changed. College used to be free. Until in the 50s, college was free. It changed in the 50s. Like the 50s was when God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance, by the way. So weird. God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance. In God We Trust was put on our money. In the 50s. These were all changes. Not all changes are progress. This is devolution. In God We Trust is over the judge's head in a fucking courtroom. I'm not telling you anything that's new. You see it on every episode of Law and Order, or if you've served on a jury, or if you've been in court. This is a Christian country, but it's getting more religious, more fundamentalist. It's the fundamentalism. Is that a word? But yes, controlling what women do inside and outside of their bodies is always where authoritarian governments start. And we're in it. We're deep in it. And Dad, we are winding down. That's right. I said winding down. This is the part of the show where I say subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to watch with your eye holes, you can watch on our YouTube channel.